So I have a son named Max. He is 4 years old and he currently attends High Hopes. We found out about High Hopes through TEIS. He had been in the NICU for a couple weeks and they recommended this place. One of many, but this was centrally located to where we worked and kind of just did our daily life. So Max is diagnosed with quadriplegic cerebral palsy. He has high spasticity, dystonia, and he is nonverbal, on top of earlier this year being diagnosed with seizures. Yeah, long laundry list. See just the raw emotions of just being first-time parents, coming into a world of you think that you know exactly what you're doing, you raising a child, and then all of a sudden you come from the NICU from 2 weeks into this world of motor and growth delays. And so you walk into these doors and you don't know what to expect. You've never been around a physical therapist, speech therapist, feeding therapist. We are instantly greeted with warm, kind hearts. He had his first evaluation here at 8 months old. We left that day signing him up with tons of therapy and then walking out on top of having 3 days of preschool. That was never our intention, but we instantly fell in love. And we've been here 3.5 years. Preschool, 8 months old, that's not the first thing you think of. 8 months old, you're here just to get an evaluation, but the same day that we were having an evaluation, we got the tour of the preschool, instantly fell in love. Teacher was very kind. She showed us around the classroom, the day-to-day activities that would be done, medication that would be given if needed, nap times, routines. But as a mom, what I truly loved about it, that it was all-inclusive. There were kids in that classroom that had special needs like Max, and there were kids that were not. And if anything, I would never take my child out of that environment. Having him grow and learn from kids that have disabilities and kids that do not. I think that you can't put a price on that. You can't have him in an environment where he thinks that, well, I'm sitting in a wheelchair, I'm different. Here, there is no difference. When I was introduced to her, I was nervous. I'm holding little Max, my husband standing beside me, and it was just a tour. It was just to kind of see the other kids at play, but she stopped what she was doing and showed me, just as if I was walking in there for a first-time parent dropping my child off, where his locker would be, what time they would have snacks, when lunch is, the crafts they'll be doing, outside play, involvement with the teachers, the therapists, that if they're needed.
Do you see a difference?
Huge. Max was enrolled here at 8 months old. Max's head was lagging. You pick him up and he didn't have that control where it would kind of hang to the left or hang to the right. Trunk support was not there. Feeding therapy, of course, he had difficulty doing even chewing or swallowing. Couldn't even say any words, any of those. And now he is 4 years old. He's taken his first step here at High Hopes. He has said his first words. That alone you can't put a price on. And every day, even though you feel like he's not making progress, I always joke and say I see it at a snail's pace. He goes at his own pace. It's so slowly, but every day, even if it's a teeny tiny pinch or grasp, those little things that you just as a parent take for granted, that every child should be doing at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months old, those little things, those milestones that, yes, at 4 years old, he's just now doing, but still it's a huge accomplishment, and that was all done because of High Hopes. Yeah, so we have our daily routine of just getting him ready, off to school, off to therapy, and in the car I'll talk about who we're going to see that day and what we're going to do. And if it's a typical day of just therapy, and tell him all his therapists that he's going to see and what he'll be doing. And the moment we pull up, he sees the building and I say, Max, we're here at High Hopes, and his whole face lights up. Get him out of the car and I start saying, we're going to go see such and such, are you excited? And just this pure happiness that comes on his face. And you can't put a price on that by any means. And of course, the moment we walk into the door and he sees every person he's known for 3.5 years, and his face just lights up. One, I always brag about High Hopes. So I'm glad that they're expanding, so it means the wait list can now be shortened. So all those that I keep recommending will finally be able to get in here. But not only that, I see a huge difference in Max and the friends that he has here. And as a parent who has a little 4-year-old, and at 3 years old in the state of Tennessee, he should have already been transitioned out and into the public school system. That was my biggest fear. I wanted him here, and so he's staying. My biggest fear of him still eventually one day outgrowing and moving on, but with the expansion means more rooms, and it means that he can stay here for another several years. Fingers crossed. I would not have him anywhere else. High Hopes is a nonprofit, and I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. They hear that your child goes to a preschool therapy clinic and that it is covered by other things, but it's out of our pockets. It's out of their pockets, what they're doing. So all of it is nonprofit. So they need support from the community, from these big companies to help keep kids like Max in here where they can grow and learn. And they need those funds more than anything just to help these kids and help the expansion of this building. I am Pamela Andrews, and I'm all in.